Hello, my name is Luby, and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. I finally have some time to record, so let's just get right into it. It's already 8:30, but this morning's class has not yet begun. We were supposed to have physics, but the teacher's nowhere to be seen. Had I known this beforehand, I would have slept in too. Suddenly the classroom door slams open and Muto grunts his morning greeting to us from the doorway. Good morning, everyone. Muto looks like he has not slept at all. The stubble, his messier than normal hair, and the stained dress shirt create a less than favorable impression. I guess he had fun last night at the festival too. Excuse my being late, I ran into unexpected problems. I'm usually not one for festivals like this, but I hope you all had a good time. After all, these sorts of events are important for you all, since they give you a short reprieve from schoolwork. The class replies with various degrees of enthusiasm, and Muto proceeds to take roll and get started. Right then, today's subject is photon particle physics. Before long, I've descended into a comfortable, coma-like state along with the rest of the class, letting Muto's rambling speeches pass through one ear and exit the other without leaving a trace. Now, who could tell us the solution to this problem? He's written a rather easy equation on the blackboard. Desperately, he tries to get the class to participate. Nobody? Come on, guys. Nakai, how about you? Unfairly singled out and cornered, I give him an answer. It causes his shaggy features to twist into a genial smile that would scare little children senseless. Precisely! Good work, Nakai. Fuck, I said his name was Nasai. I'm both disturbed and honored by the fact that he remembered my name only 1 week after I transferred here. I didn't. From what I've seen, Muto has serious trouble remembering the names of anybody else in the class, and most of them have been here since the first year. The room settles into a dreary mood, students and teacher alike are trying to get back on track after the festival. I figure last week must have been frantic for everyone. Not a minute too soon, the lunch bells ring. Make way, important business! Turn my head just in time to see other people scatter out of the way as someone charges from the far end of the corridor towards the stairwell. It's too late to realize that I'm standing in the middle of the corridor, directly in the way of the oncoming human projectile. Misha. No, wait. Emmy. I try to skip back towards the doorway. Unfortunately, the person running towards me dodges in the same direction. In the following fraction of a second, several things come to mind in sequence, yet almost simultaneously. First, I recognize that the girl who was in a collision course with me is Emmy. I was right. Second, I realize that it feels somehow very natural to be tackled by Emmy once again. I could feel almost comfortable if not for the reflexive panic and terror. Third, Emmy seems to be carrying a foot-tall sack of papers while running in the hallway. She crashes into me, but at least the impact was a grazing one on my arm this time.
Howie! Why does this always happen to me?
Gee, I wonder, could it possibly have anything to do with you running through the corridor like you were on fire? She whimpers regretfully, looking like a hurt puppy. The sight makes me regret my snappish comment the very instant it emerges from my lips.
But I was in a hurry.
I can tell.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. Emmy wails weakly one last time and rubs her forehead as if to expel the ache while her gaze sweeps over the hallway floor. As she notices her neat stack of papers spread all over the floor in one big mess, she lets out a horrified yelp.
Ah! The printouts! Oh no. What am I gonna do? Teacher will give me hell if they get dirty.
They're probably fine. Let's gather them back up. It won't be a problem. We quickly round up the papers, and Emmy tries to sort the scattered pile in her hands back into the orderly stack it was. I think I've said this before, but Emmy's voice is just the hardest for me because it's changed a million times.
Where are you going?
Nowhere in particular, I guess. I didn't want to be left alone with Muto in the classroom. I think he has a hangover.
Have you eaten lunch?
Not yet, but I'm not feeling very hungry anyway. She looks at me incredulously, as if doubting my sanity for letting such a thing out of my mouth.
You should go to the roof! I promised Rin I would eat lunch with her. I bet she'd like company.
Uh-oh. My lunches with Rin have been remarkably unsuccessful. I know where this conversation is going, and it's hard to not get drawn along, so I have little choice but to play ball. Okay, I'll go pick up some bread or something first. Emmy smiles brightly before I say anything further.
No, I'll go deliver these super quick, and then go buy lunch for us.
I'm so sorry. What is her voice? Whatever. You guys just have to deal with it while I struggle.
And Rin, too, of course. What kind of bread do you like?
It's fine. You really don't need to.
Don't worry, it's all alright. Consider an apology. I'll be back before you know it.
That's what I'm worried about. Don't get into another accident. Emmy starts walking down the hall, but since she's still talking to me, she isn't watching where she's going.
I won't.
Famous last words. She's already jogging down the stairs as she shouts that not-so-reassuring promise back to me. Sighing quietly, I start plodding along in her wake, but instead of taking the stairs down, I climb upwards. The stairwell up to the roof is unlit and just as creepy as it was before. The door squeaks weakly in protest as they push it open. Rin is there too, like Emmy said, lying on her back at the other end of the pebble-covered rooftop for some reason. Predicting something unnecessarily strange again, I walk to her as slowly as possible. God, I just like rotated her sprite and then put a background of a floor.
Hello.
She sounds very drowsy, she says that, stretching the end of the word with a slurred voice. Despite that, her eyes are wide open. I look down at her, my shadow overlapping her face. What are you doing? Rin raises an eyebrow.
I thought you had a heart problem, not an eye problem.
She answers, challenging the rationale of my perfectly valid question without even tilting her head to look at me. Rin's smart-ass comments are infuriating. The worst thing is that I'm not sure if she's doing it on purpose or not. Alright then, let me rephrase. Why are you lying on your back on the rooftop? She gives a lazy shrug and sniffs dismissively.
I'm trying to experience. People probably don't do this enough.
What exactly are you trying to experience here? I can't really tell, but there's probably a reason people don't do whatever. She's playing dodgeball with me again, answering my attempt at small talk with riddles I don't want to puzzle out. But I don't want to ignore her either.
Yeah, but the reason is that everyone is too busy with their lives to pay attention to the really important things.
Like watching the sky? She tears her gaze away from the sky and finally looks straight at me. The penetrating deepness of her eyes once she focuses on something is startling.
You know, if you were a girl, I'd be able to see your panties.
If I was a girl, I wouldn't come this close to anyone to try to sneak a peek in my panties. I have that much common sense.
I wouldn't either, but sometimes it can't be avoided. Like now, for example. To tell you the truth, I don't even want... Tell you the truth, I don't even...
Sorry, I can't fucking read this with a straight face.
To tell you the truth, I don't even really want to peek at your panties, though. Underpants are the soul of a girl. You shouldn't peek at someone else's soul, even if you're not a girl.
As a guy, I guess I can understand that. To us, there's some sort of half-mythical object that we can't quite comprehend.
Yeah, that's exactly how I think about them, too. What a coincidence.
It really is. So, did you have world history in the morning class?
I skipped class.
To do this?
Well, I'm not actually doing what it looks like I'm doing, or at least I think that what I am doing doesn't look like, but from your perspective, probably, yeah, I skipped class to do this.
I guess whatever your reason is, it's as good as any. Giving into the tired feelings of my legs, I sit down on the roof next to Rin. The pebbles aren't the most comfortable bed in the world, but if she can stand it, then I should be able to as well.
What are you waiting for? Try it.
I bend my neck backwards to take a look where she's looking. The silvery blue sky dotted by herds of cloud sheep fills my field of vision entirely. While it's pretty, the view is nothing special even though the weather's fair. I give a shrug, try my best to imitate the nonchalant manner which Rin seems to have evolved to perfection, and lie down on my back. The stones poke my back through my thin shirt whenever I shift my weight even a little, forcing me to keep as still as possible. I try to ignore the discomfort in myself, instead concentrating on the vastness over us. Far above, the summer clouds drift soundlessly across the dome of the sky. Neither of us have anything more to say, thus silence covers the rooftop. The subdued noises of students on their lunch break, cicadas in the trees, and traffic buzzing past the school are humming pleasantly somewhere in the background. Listen, I had a great time yesterday.
Did you?
Well, to be honest, no. Shut the fuck up, man. But it was alright. It was probably the longest time I've ever sat in one place without doing anything, which is kind of impressive. I try to make it sound as convincing as possible.
Is that impressive?
I think it is. I'm usually too restless to do anything like that.
I think I had a good time too.
A cloud passes above us, casting its shadow on the school. A chill surges through me from the sudden change of sunlight to shade. I realize that summer isn't in its full bloom quite yet. The only measure of time passing is the slow pace of the clouds moving towards the town. Stray beams of golden sunlight leak through the gaps, blinding me for a moment whenever they hit me directly in the eyes. The blue of the sky looks so unreachable. This reminds me of the time I spent in the hospital where I was bored out of my mind on a daily basis. Somehow it didn't matter after a while. I learned to appreciate other things besides watching TV and gossiping with people I didn't even like. A comprehensive sensation of calmness spreads from my sight to my other senses, finally hitting my brain. An airplane zooms by, leaving two thin contrails in its wake, like a pair of chalk lines drawn from one end of the sky to the other. I wonder where it's heading. The low din of its engines carries all the way down to my ears, although it's barely audible over the racket from the quad.
It's nice.
It's nice, but I don't understand why this is more important than going to class.
Isn't it good to do something you like? Every once in a while?
Of course, but, what are you doing? Emmy has snuck up on us without either noticing and is only a step away from me, holding several packages wrapped in plastic film in her arms. She leans forward and peeks over me, overshadowing my face almost exactly the same way it overshadowed Rin before. I wonder how weird this looks, and the two of us lying on our backs on the rooftop. That's what I asked, too.
I'll be more concerned about what you are doing. If I were you, I wouldn't come that close to people who would...
Damn it, Rin.
If I were you, I wouldn't come that close to people who could see your panties.
Rin! Emmy's voice is scandalized, but she quickly takes a step backward, pressing her hands against the front of her skirt so abruptly that the parcels of bread she was carrying fall. I quickly avert my eyes and glance angrily at Rin. She pretends not to see me.
Hisao isn't like that, right?
Right. Emmy scowls at Rin and crouches down to pick up the packages. She wipes the dust off them and skips lithely around to me to Rin's other side where she sets herself down.
Anyway, here's your bread. Sorry it took a while.
That's alright. Thanks for treating me. I pull myself up into a sitting position and gratefully accept the bread Emmy's offering. All three of us ravenously dig into the simple meal. The bread is surprisingly decent and readily fills my stomach. I follow from the corner of my eye the skill with which Rin handles her bread between her feet.
I haven't seen you on the track in a few days.
Oh, right. I figured it was too heavy a routine for me to start with.
So you've been doing something else?
I've been considering my options. She frowns, but doesn't pursue the issue further, for which I'm thankful. Emmy seems pretty headstrong, and I wouldn't really want to get pestered by her about this on a daily basis. I have enough burdens to bear with Shizune and Misha already. Barely finished the lunch before the bells ring, calling us back to our classrooms. It's her!
Hee-chan!
Misha waves at me as soon as I enter and starts talking before I even make my way across the classroom.
How was your festival? Did you have fun?
Still somewhat undecided on that, I'd say. Probably. Why?
Just asking.
Her eyes glint in a way that tells me she's not just asking. I can't even start to guess her motives, though. As the well-timed entrance to the English teacher prevents us from talking further, Misha falls back to plan B.
I was there all day with Shishan. We had lots of fun.
Weren't you supposed to be doing work?
Don't worry, everything went really well.
I don't reply to that, and she leaves me alone after Shizune demands her attention. My own attention, on the other hand, is directed out the windows. Now that I look at it from here, through the window in the foliage just outside, the sky seems smaller. I catch only small glimpses of blue. Everything else is a clutter of noise right in the middle of my field of vision. What experience did Rin want out of staring at the sky? Surely she's done it before. Everyone has. It's no use trying to guess her mind, but if I don't do that, then I have no excuse for not concentrating on the teacher's words. I look at the scribbles appearing on the blackboard, trying to figure out their meaning with little success. English really isn't my favorite subject. We have a strong mutual dislike for each other. Thick, hot afternoon light invades the corridor, making the air feel heavy and lazy. My body feels weighed down by it as I drag it 2 doors down the hallway to the art classroom. Maybe this is part of the reason why I didn't join any clubs before. Afternoons just aren't suited for activity. A new CG of people. And that's Rin, back there. I knock on the door of the art room and open it. A girl who was possibly doing something important with a scroll of paper she's carrying turns to reckon me and smiles in a sweet, if a bit confused manner.
Hello?
This is the art club, right?
Yep. You interested in joining?
Yeah, in fact, I might have already done so, but we'll see. I give her a weak smile and her own widens a notch, making me feel less nervous.
Great. Have a seat then. We'll start when the teacher gets here.
Without even scouting the room for a good spot, I walk quickly to the back of the room and settle myself in a free seat, apart from everyone else. I think that's the blind kid she was talking about. A few other members are lounging in their seats, waiting for the teacher. Rin sits alone in a window seat, looking outside. She's the only person here that I know, although a guy I've never really gotten along with from my own class is here too. Nobody else comes to greet me. Maybe introductions are left for later, so I just settle for silent observation as well. One boy has sunglasses on, an odd sight indoors, were we not at Yamaku. I'll bet he's the blind student Rin was talking about. The wait proves to be extremely short. Nomiya walks over to stand behind his desk in 3 long strides, then gives a smile and a flamboyant greeting.
Good afternoon, everyone. First things first, Hisao there is a new member, so everyone get along with him.
He winks at me, unsettling. All 8 members of the club, including myself, answer his greeting with considerably less enthusiasm. Still, people finally straighten up in their seats and begin to pay attention.
I think some of you still have projects to work on, so please continue with those if you like. As for the rest, I was thinking that today we could do some rough studies. How does that sound?
Nobody answers except for some unintelligible murmurs, which Nomiya apparently interprets as unanimous approval.
Alright then, everyone not working on other projects, choose a partner and draw a sketch of one another. You should be able to complete this today, but if not, we continue it next time, or even do it again if you find it interesting. Remember to pay attention to lighting and shadow, and give it your best.
Pairing up? I feel pretty awkward about it, hardly knowing anyone here. I wish someone would ask me to be their partner. People stand up and move their chairs closer together, but nobody comes to me. Pretty soon, everyone else is already paired off. Friends team up with each other, but I'm left alone. Well, there is Rin. Yeah, the girl you know that slept on you, dude. She's sitting in the furthest corner of the classroom, still staring out the window and seemingly uninterested in taking part in the exercise. Since she's the only other one without a partner, I walk to her seat. I can't see her face because her hair is covering most of it and she's looking away from me. Rin? I call out to her, no response. Hey, wanna partner up? You're the only one I know here. She seems to finally acknowledge my presence, head turning like a robot as she looks to see who's addressing her. Rin doesn't answer, and I don't want to repeat the question either. I'm sure she heard it the first time. ... Why doesn't she say anything? It can't be such an awful fate to be paired up with me, can it? She doesn't look at my face and instead stares directly at my chest and stomach. ...
Oh, okay. Why not?
Okay, good. Great, I'll get the stuff for us. Looking at the equipment Nomiya has prepared for today's meeting confuses me. Instead of graphite or pencils, we are apparently supposed to do ink sketches. I've never done anything like that before. The teacher, however, seems confident in my abilities to adapt to this medium.
Simple! First you do the outlines in ink. You let them dry, and then you shade with the diluted ink. This is called India ink. It works like watercolors. If you're uncomfortable with it, use a pen instead of a brush for the outlines.
Got it. I pick up paper, water cups, 1 pen for me, 1 brush for Rin, and ink for both of us, then return to Rin. Wow, this is the worst time to be getting, like, little hiccups. Grabbing a vacated chair from nearby, I seat myself directly opposite her.
Do you want me to do it with my foot or my mouth?
What did you say? She tilts her head, her brows forming questioning arches, as if she doesn't understand that I didn't understand the question.
I don't mind drawing either way. You'll look better if I do it. You'll look better if I do it with my foot, though.
With your foot, then, if it's all the same to you. Nodding an answer, Rin gets up from her seat and kicks off her sandals. In 2 fluid motions, she picks up the paper sheet and drops it on the floor, then snatches the brush between her toes before sitting on the floor in a weird, half-cross-legged position. Although I've seen her do everything with her feet already, from eating to painting, this display of dexterity is so prodigious that I just stare at her, stunned. Rin contemplates her blank paper intently. The sharp tip of her brush hovers over the paper in anticipation. When she raises her head to see if I'm ready, I quickly turn my face away.
I'll go first. Make a pose.
What kind of a pose?
Doesn't matter. That's the point. You have to make the sketch of the impression you get, not decide beforehand.
I end up just sitting in my chair, my hands hanging limply between my knees. I look at her, and she looks at me for a moment before beginning. Rin's stare is piercing but impassive, as if she were trying to absorb a part of me into her own self. I feel like I'm physically shrinking under the pressure of her gaze. I get the feeling that for the first time since we met, Rin is actually looking at me instead of in my general direction. She sketches with confident, bold sweeps of the delicate brush, not caring about the potentially destructive consequences of an accidentally misplaced stroke. After she's happy with the outlines, she stands up to pose for me, stretching her back and legs. This time, she doesn't look at me. Instead, Rin lets her gaze wander around the room. I'm relieved. It's easier to stare at someone when they aren't staring back at you. Even so, I find it hard to get the sketch going. I'm not especially artistically talented, so I'm scared my portrait will turn into something disfigured, especially when compared to my partner's skill. I don't want to embarrass myself too badly on the first try. Rin isn't helping the process either. She doesn't stand still for even 10 seconds, tilting her head from side to side to judge her drawing. biting at her lower lip, looking unsatisfied, and constantly shuffling around like she was on hot coals. I finally managed to make some headway in my sketch, and with my outlines done, we both start inking in the shadow and light. Nomiya passes by and remarks on the beginnings of our sketches.
Very good. Standing figure is easier for a beginner to get a grasp of.
But, I didn't choose the pose. I look at him and then at Rin in confusion, but he's already moving on to the next pair, and Rin seems unresponsive. Just like when she was painting the mural, Rin has become so engrossed with her work that it seems she has shut me, the classroom, and the entire world itself out from her own little sphere of existence. Every now and then, she leans backward, seemingly to get some perspective. Sometimes she bends forward, leaning down until her nose almost touches the paper. The rocking back and forth looks silly. Suddenly, Rin proves she hasn't completely drifted off into a world of her own and speaks.
Are you having fun already?
She doesn't raise her eyes from the drawing, which is a good thing. The breaking of the silence sends a jolt of surprise through me as if I'd been electrocuted. I don't know yet. It's hard to say. I can't hear how she replies my answer because it seems she's suddenly having a private, whispered conversation with her sketch. I don't understand how she can draw so well when she has the attention span of a butterfly. As it seems she lost her interest, I go back to work on my drawing as well. I try to add texture to Rin's hair to somehow grasp the way the golden afternoon sun lights her bright red tassel of flame and transfer it to my paper in shades of black and gray. Somehow, this pen and the bottle of ink seem like such lousy, inadequate tools for the task. Minutes pass, but the sketch doesn't magically look any more like Rin than it did before. Her voice wakes me up from my despair.
What about now?
Excuse me?
Are you having fun already?
Why do you keep asking that?
Because it's a club, right? Clubs are meant to be fun. You join to have fun. Are you having fun?
Is it important that I'm having fun?
Yes.
Okay, I'm having fun.
Good.
I wonder if I said that just to please her, or if I really meant it. I can't really decide which it was. I don't hate this, though. I can honestly say that much. It's good enough for now. As the allotted time to finish the studies quickly ticks away, I desperately try to improve my awful sketch, but it doesn't seem to get any better. I want to start again from scratch, but what would be the point? There's no time for that either.
Okay, everyone, that's it for today. Please turn in the drawings on my desk, and I'll see you all next Monday.
That's not bad. That's really good. What the fuck? Hisao, come on. I glance at my portrait. It doesn't exactly look like Rin. I guess you could say portrays her, but that might be a bit generous. Hisao. Buddy. You're being a little rough on yourself. This is good. This is good. I like it. The nose and the jaw look hideous and the shading is terrible. Granted, it's my first attempt at drawing with ink, but it's still pretty bad. You know, I just think the artists who made this game were too good at drawing. They couldn't make a bad drawing.
That's not bad.
She sneaked up behind me while I was lost in thought. Damn it, I was hoping I could smuggle the portrait to the teacher without you seeing it.
Why?
I'm not really happy with it. I wish I could draw better.
You just need some practice. Did you take my drawing to the teacher too?
Curious myself about how the sketch turned out, I peek at the picture. From the way Rin was drawing, it looked like she was really into it. Damn! Ooh! Okay, Rin. Okay. It's excellent. Somehow the seemingly arbitrary strokes come together to form an image of my face, from the shape of my chin to the messy hair to the somewhat gloomy expression. Her sketch blows my mind. Huh. Okay. You're amazing. I wish I was as good as you. Okay, here's the part that I didn't miss so much. These choices that could change everything. I mean, this is like the first choice on this route. It shouldn't change that much, right? You're amazing. I wish I was good as you. This seems very sad, self-deprecating. You're amazing. Wow, you're amazing.
It's not that amazing, but thanks.
I take a closer look at her work. It's still glistening with slowly drying ink. You know, I look kind of grim here.
You do look kind of grim. I mean, I agree, but it's also true otherwise too. Like this you, not the you I made.
I do?
I think so, at least.
Her simple statement makes me suddenly feel incredibly self-conscious. I feel like I need a mirror right now to confirm or debunk Rin. It's a nasty feeling. Maybe it's just her. I hope it's just her and that I don't look like that sketch to everyone. It's a good sketch, but somehow I get a really oppressive feeling from it. I see. Anyway, it looks really good. You really are amazing.
Thanks. I'm glad I could draw you. You're an interesting person.
You're an interesting person too, but that didn't help me much. My self-deprecation has no limits today, but Rin ignores it all. Well, actually, I made you less self-deprecative, okay, Hisao? I knew that I could never compare, but to see the difference with my own eyes is quite humbling.
See, I try to make you look like you think a lot, since you do a lot of thinking. And yeah, I might have done the fed up with life expression, but cynics are like that, right?
I want to retort something snappy, but Nomiya gives me no time to think, ushering us at the door.
Hurry up, you two!
While I've been chatting, the rest of the club is taking their leave. I quickly pick up our drawings and take them to the teacher's desk before hurrying after Rin, who's already left the classroom. She's not in the hallway, to my surprise. I wonder where she managed to run off to in just a few seconds. Would have been nice to talk more. Well, not that I had much to say, except maybe get back at her for calling me a cynic. It's surprisingly late. I already got used to school ending at the same time every day, so I can feel the extra hours in my head. And my god, my growling stomach reminds me that I'm absolutely ravenous. I'm so hungry that I dare to try anything the cafeteria staff has deemed edible. Even when I see today's delicacy, fried mystery lumps, my steely resolve doesn't fade. I stuff the dinner down without tasting it at all, which is probably for the best. I don't have much homework to do, but what little I have won't get done by itself, so I stroll towards the dormitories. Preparing for the post-homework lull, I knock on Kenji's door. Why? Why would you do that? He responds from the other side, although I can't make out what he said. I tried the door, but it's locked. After several seconds, the locks click open and he opens the door. Hi, hey, can I borrow a book? The library is already closed after I got away from my club meeting. He's squinting even more than usual and his eyebrows are twitching nervously.
Club? That's dangerous, man. Indoctrination, groupthink, brainwashing, you name it. High school clubs sow the seeds of conspiracy. Do you know how many secret societies have grown from high school clubs? Watch your back. Don't get too deep in. You might not come back.
The conversation literally just started, dude. Calm down. Okay, Kenji, so, how about that book?
Sure. But return them and don't spoil any of the books. No drinks, no food stains, no bodily fluids. Capiche?
Sure, thanks. Instead of letting me in, he retreats from the door, closing it again. After a few seconds, he returns with a sack of 3 thick books and hands them over to me. Opening the topmost one, a familiar emblem stamped on the copyright page greets me. Your books? These are from the school library.
They are now mine.
You stole these?
What are you talking about, man? I've been liberating these from the oppressive feminist movement that controls the library.
Please say oppressive feminist movement doesn't mean that poor librarian girl Yuko. She couldn't even press a wet towel. Kenji turns away, mumbling something I can't make out, and closes the door behind him. Before going to my own room, I enter the bathroom. While washing my hands, my eyes catch my reflection from the mirror above the sink. I try to look for the grimness Rin saw in me, but it's just the usual me inside the mirror that stares back. I attempt to tell myself that this is what I've always looked like, but I realize I don't remember what I looked like half a year ago. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. But who cares? Let's keep going. Woo! I wake up all sweaty as if I had run a half marathon in my sleep. Odd, I don't recall sleeping badly. It sends a little pang of worry through me. I wouldn't want to have my heart acting up without being able to notice it. Still, apart from this odd exhaustion right after waking up, I'm feeling just fine. My mouth is like sandpaper and I have nothing to drink, so I have to go all the way to the bathroom and take my meds. On impulse, I decide to take a shower while I'm at it. While I'm in the shower, I make up my mind that this counts as morning exercise if I properly compensate with a nice half-hour walk after school. Obviously, I wouldn't want to risk possible complications by going running now. Besides, Emmy will never know, and I think she's giving up on me in any case. Walking could be nice anyway, just to get to know the area. There's a big forest in the hills behind the school, or I could go down to the convenience store. While still dabbing the moisture off my skin, I set out to find my uniform. I quickly button on my shirt and pull on my pants before going outside. Normally during this time of the year, I'd be eagerly awaiting summer vacation. Having only been at school for a little over a week, I don't really have that kind of feeling. I'm still savoring the school life, considering the sharp and awkward turn my life has taken. I haven't had the time to become preoccupied with getting free of it. Besides, once vacations hit, it'll be a nice surprise for me if I'm not expecting it, especially with the end-of-term exams looming ahead. At least I don't have any catching up to do with my studies. My diligence has finally paid off. I push myself past the boys gathered in the doorway and flop into my seat. From the corner of my eye, I can see Shizune and Misha pause their unavoidably animated conversation and turn almost simultaneously in direction. They clearly want something from me. I can tell from the way Shizune smiles. It's too obnoxiously bright to be sincere and too calculated to be spontaneous.
Good morning!
Her greetings made of 100% cheer and bursting energy. Morning? I failed to put either of those into my response.
You don't look very energetic.
No wonder I don't feel very energetic either. I think I didn't sleep well, but I'm not sure. She slaps me in the back and grins.
Cheer up a bit, it's a great day.
I catch Chizune's eyes. She has a strange, focused expression on her face, but she furrows her brow a little at direct eye contact and looks away. For a moment, I think that Chizune caught a glimpse of my worries somehow and is pondering how to respond. But then she quickly straightens her glasses, and with them, her expression. ...
Anyway, we were wondering if you're still interested in that student council position, because we're gonna make an offer that you can't decline.
Wait, what? I wasn't really interested in the first place. You're putting words in my mouth. ...
We're gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Not as such, but wouldn't it be nice to hang out with us every day while also being useful to your school?
Well, to tell you the truth, I kind of joined the club, so it'd actually be sort of hard for me to join the council too. Even if I wanted to, which I don't, as I said. ...
Is that so? Which club is it, Hee-chan?
The art club. ... Shizune's eyes glint in a sinister way as she scowls at me. With the way she looks, I'll be expecting the art club to lose its funding before lunch break, or the art teacher to mysteriously disappear from the face of the earth. Before she manages to comment, the teacher finally enters the classroom, getting Shizune and Misha off my back, and sending everyone rummaging in their bags for books and pens. I did join the art club, but the first meeting didn't really boost my confidence. I'm not really sure what I'm doing it for. I wish I could draw like Rin, but I don't know what I would do if I could. To what end would I use such a skill? I don't really know. Ignoring the teacher's sleep-inducing voice, I opened my notebook to an empty page and pressed the needle-sharp graphite tip of the pencil onto it. What to draw? I can't really think of anything good to draw. As I hesitate and raise my hand, a meek black mark left on the previously blank paper seems aggravating. I can't even seem to get the starting line, let alone get started. It's almost a physical feeling of being held back. Annoyingly, it reminds me of a failed attempt at jogging with Emmy. I look out of the window in desperation. Right then, a small bird takes flight from one of the cherry trees that grow everywhere on the school grounds. I can't really see it clearly, and it's not like I can tell one tiny bird from another, but I pick it as my subject anyway. Conjuring up the image of a bird in my mind's eye, I turn my gaze back to the notebook and deliberately draw a thick line across the paper to get started. It seems to be mocking me as I can't follow up right away. Still, at the start, getting started is good. I slowly sketch the picture on the notebook page, the image in my brain becoming clearer as the drawing takes shape. It's really nothing, just that nameless nothing bird on paper, but that's not important. My hesitation fades into the background along with the teacher's voice as I continue my struggle. The feathers form a simple pattern in my mind, but on paper it's a mess of too many rough lines despite my best efforts. I realize that I don't really know what a bird's wing should look like, even if I try to think about it. I even put the pencil down and closed my eyes for a moment, trying to trace the shape of a wing in my mind. Being this serious about it all of a sudden makes me a little frustrated. Art class in middle school is the easy class in between exhausting subjects like math or Japanese. But there's this other side to art, the one that you see when you don't just fool around. It's almost like a completely different thing.
Hee-chan!
I look up to see these two girls staring back at me. Misha and Shizune have carried their chairs to my desk and are now standing by my sides looking at my drawing. How long have you two been there?
I think you need more practice.
Shizune draws a few sharp signs in the air between herself and Misha.
Hee-chan agrees.
Rin said the exact same thing yesterday, but why did it sound less condescending? You shouldn't judge before I'm finished. Besides, don't you know it's bad luck to see an unfinished piece of work? Misha cracks in exuberant laughter.
What? Don't be silly. There's no way that could be true.
Whatever. Shizune's eyebrows furrow dangerously, and the movements of her hands become abrupt, like the slashing of a knife. ...
You should learn to take constructive criticism better.
I would if you'd actually offer some. I know I'm getting too defensive and that Shizune is taking advantage of it, but I can't help it. What are you two doing here anyway? ... Misha wags her finger admonishingly at my nose.
Tsk, Kai-chan. Are you not listening to the teacher at all? ... We have a group assignment, now.
I nod bleakly and let them take the lead.
So, what did you think of the lesson for today?
Not much of anything. I didn't listen to a word of it. Misha slaps her forehead and shakes her head theatrically.
What are we gonna do with you, Hee-chan?
Luckily, Shizune and Misha together are more effective than 3 or 4 normal people, so I can mostly slack on the assignment. I try my best to offer at least some assistance, but I end up being mostly useless. The teacher keeps us in class 5 minutes past the lunch bells, but eventually lets us off the hook. I quickly stuff my books into my bag while Shizune and Misha carry their chairs back to their own seats. The failure of a bird drawing ends up crumpled and stuffed in my pocket as I hurry outside. Come on, man. It wasn't that bad. Okay, maybe the wings looked a little weird, I'm gonna be honest, but it was a good-ass drawing. Anyway, that's all the time I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll get to see Hisao pursue his art passion. Not really a passion, just kind of a thing he's doing right now, because he's kind of has no goal in life right now. Okay, that got a little too depressing, but we'll see that continue, and hopefully more Rin next time. I'll see you then. Peace.